Life can be hard, and the difficulty level of life isn't set in stone from person to person. It's not like there's one big master sheet out there that says what the top most difficult thing in the world is and the easiest thing in the world is, and we all have to adhere to it. But what's more than that is that the difficulty of the things we have to do day to day isn't just different from person to person, but it can be different for you too, depending on where you are and how you're feeling in that moment in your life. My name's Dave Cottrell, and as well as coaching people for over a decade now, I have lived with bipolar disorder my entire life. So I know all too well how the feelings we have, the moods we have, the emotions and the mental health we have can all play such a massive role in how difficult things are. And you don't need to have bipolar or even a diagnosed mental health condition for this to apply to you. It all comes down to something that we each have inside of us. Our momentum, energy, effort, abilities, none of these are fixed things. They are all linked to this momentum and linked even further to our mental health. When your momentum is high, you will find many things, if not everything in your life, easier. However, when the momentum is low, you will find basic day-to-day tasks such as combing your hair, getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, to be almost impossible. And in this, you are not alone. On top of this, because we think that this master sheet of difficulty levels exists inside of everybody's head, we tend to beat ourselves up when we can't get the more basic or so-called simple things done. If you've ever been in that position, you know how bad it can be. And because of society's expectations on us, the first thing we do is put ourselves down. As if I'm bothered by this. Oh my gosh, what type of person does this make me? What type of worker does it make me? What type of father does it make me? What type of boyfriend does it make me? What type of friend does it make me if I can't do this? And at that moment as well, we tend to look around everywhere and see everybody else gliding through life effortlessly. And that internal dialogue can begin to tell us, it's only me that is suffering this. There must be something wrong with me. I must be broken or not fit for this world in some way. And that is a really dark and dangerous place to be. And what's more, it's absolutely not true. You've probably heard the analogy of a swan many times in your life, where a swan glides across the top of the water but is kicking frantically underneath. This is what happens in that situation. You are aware not only of what you are or aren't doing, but you're also aware of the feelings underneath it. Whereas when we look at anybody else, we just see them gliding across the water, and that person could be really fighting to actually do that, but just somehow making it look effortless. Either way, this situation is causing you nothing but pain. But I want to show you a way to get through it. It's 3 steps, although technically it's only 2, because we do the first step, then we do the second step, and then we come back to the first step. Think of it as a cha-cha-cha. Let's get started. So step number 1, we start with that thought pattern. We are going to challenge that thought pattern straight away. These thoughts that you're having, they're not facts. They're like the opinion of a drunken person down in the pub. Might be funny, might sometimes be accurate, but you don't have to just believe them just because they are there. There's an expression I love to use for this. We don't guilt ourselves into greatness. By putting yourself down like this, it is only making it harder and harder to take any action. The problem right now is that you're at 0 momentum, or maybe even below 0 momentum. And then that can feel like it's dragging you down. But believe me, though there are many other things that will have contributed to you being here, one of the biggest things keeping you there right now is this internal dialogue. The good news is you have control over that internal dialogue. Maybe not fully, but a lot more than you think. Right now, even think about if someone else said that to you and your job was to argue it, what would you say in that situation? This can be a difficult task, and to get started, we don't need to go all in right now. All we need to do is silence that critic. And the best way to do that is, instead of focusing on the emotion around the task that you have to do, we stop and we say, what can I manage right now? We change the relationship between what we think we need to achieve today, and we just start by looking at what we can achieve in that moment, with the time you have, with the energy you have, with the momentum you have. Now that task might be get up off the couch. So instead of looking at tasks like complete my to-do list for the day, get through a full day's work, check in with all of my friends and make sure they're okay, we move the goalposts and we get it as something like get out of bed, wash my face, brush my teeth, comb my hair. And not even all of those, just one of them, the one that you feel that you can do right now. And actually, bonus tip at this point, you might not feel as if you can fully do it right now. It might feel as if there's going to be a lot of effort involved in that. And then that critic will pipe up again. What kind of person are you? That this effort just feels so insurmountable. You'll never achieve anything. At that point, we need to push through that thing and you need to do it. That brings us to step 2, take the action. It doesn't matter how small the action is. We're not trying to accomplish the biggest goal of your day right now. We're trying to start building that momentum. And each little task you do will make you wonder, what more can I do? It really doesn't matter how small it is. And I'm going to teach you a saying at the end that'll lock this right in for you. But right now, just understand that those small tasks are important. And if you do any of those small tasks when you feel as if you can do nothing, that doesn't make you weak. That makes you a champion. That makes you someone who is heading in the right direction, which leads us back to step 1 or step 3. Now it's time to turn that inner critic into an inner coach. Right now, you are left with an important choice. Are you going to put yourself down for the effort you've just made? Or are you going to big yourself up? See, when we put ourselves down, we send a signal to our brain that the thing we did isn't worth doing again. So if you say something along the lines of, oh, so what? I only got out of bed. I used to be able to do so much, or everybody else can do so much more than this. Big deal. Then yeah, you probably will not feel like getting out of bed tomorrow. But if you take a moment to big yourself up, and I'm not talking about a full-blown happy dance here, although that is my preferred choice. I'm talking about something that signals to you, even if it's small, that what you did is good. A moment to just acknowledge and say, I'm proud of you. Because ultimately, if you had a friend in the exact same situation, would you turn to them and say, so what? You just got out of bed. I've been getting out of bed every day this week. You're such a loser. Would you? Side note, if you would, maybe consider a different option. But you wouldn't say that to your friend because you know what it would do. You know it wouldn't motivate them to do the next step. You know exactly how to motivate a friend. And the biggest trick in life, it's the same way to motivate yourself. You would take a moment to say, oh mate, I'm so proud of you. Well done. Look, if you're feeling up to it, maybe you can come round later or come and hang out or we'll just have a chat on the phone, but I'm proud of you for what you've done. And by saying that and by being that friend, you help that person take the next step. As sad as it may be in this world, more often than not, we need to be that friend to ourselves. It is a bit unfair. And by saying to yourself something like, oh, I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I didn't feel like doing anything today and I got out of bed. That is huge. By saying something like that to yourself, you're so much more likely to either do the next thing that day or get out of bed again the next day. And in either of those situations, you are starting the process of building that momentum back up. And that is priceless. So let's recap on the 3 steps before we get to that phrase that's going to help you lock this all in. Step 1, if we can't shut the inner critic up completely, we just disagree with them and start with step 2. Step 2 is we take the action, we move the goalposts, we make it the simplest, easiest thing just to get us started. We're not looking at tackling the whole mountain right now. And step 3 is we come back to that inner critic and we replace them with an inner coach. We talk to ourselves like we would a friend. If you've made it this far, thank you for your time and your attention. Drop a comment below with something that you are going to commit to tackling, no matter how big or how small. And here's that phrase I want you to use when you are in those darkest days. On the days you feel you can do nothing and you do anything, that means everything. I'll see you in the next video.